I'm Will. And this is Walker. We did our project on Line Rider.
Our question for this was, how does Line Rider relate to math? Our hypothesis is that Line Rider relates to math through things such as velocity and stress on an object. These were just the two main things that we wanted to test. There were lots of other things, but all those are in our conclusion.
One of the two main things we had was velocity, and to experiment with velocity, we put a blue line, as you might recognize from the game, a blue line going down and then a red line, somewhat of a ramp, and we saw how fast he went in 3 seconds, and Walker explain the LU system?
Okay, basically in order to measure things within this game, we had to come up with a new system of measurement. So we decided on the LU, or Line Rider unit. It is the length of one of Bosch's sled. This is just an extremely simple and easy way to measure everything within the game.
And for our stress on an object test, we did the same thing, except we put a blue line at the very end that he would stop at, or in some cases, once you reach 5 LUs
or over,
he would crash into it. Anything less, he would just bump into it, but he would not fall off the sled.
And also we did some things about hitboxes and angles. Basically with hitboxes, it just, like we have our Will character here, there's a little imaginary box around him, and whenever something comes in contact with that box,
it interacts with it depending on how the programmers programmed it to.
So if the box is like all the way out here and he goes like that, it'll, yeah.
It still interacts with them. And in this case, it would be Bosch and the line. When Bosch hits the line, he interacts with the line through landing on it or falling off.
Okay. And also for angles, depending on what angle a ramp is at and what speed he's going, will determine where Bosch goes.
Yes.
Or the direction of his flight.
And we have a chart right here that measures our stress on an object test. We put a blue line about 5 LUs long going down, and then a extremely long red acceleration line. And the first test, he slid down the blue line and the acceleration line. In the first 3 seconds, he reached 7 LUs, and he kept going, and it slowly rose, which explains the 7 and the up arrow. And we did the exact same test with a blue line replacing the red line, and he went at about 2.5 LUs the first 3 seconds, and he slowly lowered the speed.
Yes, and we also have the
scenery lines,
which don't do anything. So, yeah. Also, so in the end, we discovered that about all of these things and how they related to Line Rider. The velocity is how fast Bosch is going or how fast he's not going. Stress on an object and hitboxes, when something comes in contact, it'll put a certain amount of stress on the thing and it'll interact as it was programmed. Angles, for the angle of takeoff or landing, and our measurement with the different LUs. All this math will probably serve us very well throughout anything that we do, and we're extremely glad that we did this project.
It was so much fun. We had several tricks. Tricks are not programmed in the game, they are player created. Almost like hacks, but not exactly.
No, not at all.
What is a nose manual, which isn't a hacky trick. It's when he balances on the tip of his sled and goes across the line, balanced.
We have gravity wells that sort of draw him in and can be used as a slingshot effect. You also have anti-gravity wells, which do the opposite. We also have pinch cannons, basically just a series and a bunch of lines with an open top. It compresses Bosch in and then shoots him straight out.
Yes.
Really, really fast.
Then there's elevators, which is a blue line. He has to be going very slow for this to work. And then there is 2 red lines going straight up, and when he stops at the line, he will be shot up through the elevator, once again acting like a slingshot.
And that is
our project on Line Rider. We appreciate you listening.
Da 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 da.
Sure.
in case you couldn't see anything when we were presenting, which you probably couldn't, here's just...
The outline of it. Pause if you need to look at anything closely. Walker was the one in the blue shirt. I was the one in the striped pants and shirt with a blotted eagle on it. Shorter one.
Filmed by Cole.
Can't think of anything else to say, so I'm just gonna blabber on. Funny hats was in our materials list.
The funny hats is actually sort of funny. Basically, the whole thing with the funny hats was that we would both wear funny hats, and when we realized that we were paying more attention to the funny hats than we were to the project, it put us back on task. That actually helped quite a lot.
In the long run, yes. And it took a long time to make this out of tape. It is mini Bosches, which I also had to cut out of paper. Then there's my artwork with the tape in a large Bosch, starting there with the start point, going down, 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 grid ramp, and Bosch.
Yeah, and our title is I Ride the Line.
By Walker. And
And there's our conclusion.
And the graph.
Yeah, we'll get to the graph.
And 1 second. There we go.
Da-da-da-da. And we have her names, Walker Bulch.
And Will Staple.
Walker Bulch and Chris